Hello summoners, welcome back to the channel and another tier list update for the month of January, the first tier list of the year. But before we start, I have to mention this. We crossed 15,000 subscribers today and it's a huge milestone for the channel. So thank you so much for all the support through the years. It's been roughly 3.5 years of me doing YouTube consistently, over 1,000 videos uploaded, and it's been quite a journey. But I won't bore you with all that too much. Let's get into the tier list. This is the list. If you want to have a look for yourself, a link to it should be down in the description and hopefully the pinned comment if I remember. If you're wondering what the synergies mentioned here are, some of them are mentioned here, so you can go there and check it out. And this is going to be the first tier list of the year, so we are going to go into a little bit detail, especially for the first two columns. Rest you can kind of have a look. Some of the buffs that are not reflected here are going to be like, where is he? Red Guardian. His buff I don't think is live, and so that's why he's still here. Rest, let's just talk about we have two new characters coming in. The first one being Onslaught, who already found his way to the highest category of the tier, and the second one, unfortunately, where is she? Deathless Guillotine, who is not even as good as OG Guillotine in my opinion. She's kind of like the pre-buff OG Guillotine. She like is remarkable that she has no ability in her SP1. It's just funny, but she really has nothing going for her. Her damage is alright, it's not bad, but to be honest, like these days standard, it's not even good, and utility wise she has basically nothing going on for her. So anyways, starting off with the highest tier, let's talk about the cosmic class. I think pretty much everyone will agree that these four champions are one tier above every other cosmic in the game. We're talking about Hercules, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Hulkling, Galen. Now this is a tier list, so how they are in one particular tier doesn't really matter. We are not ranking these characters, although if you are asking for my honest opinion, Hercules is clearly first, and then it's kind of, you know, your option. I would place either Hulkling or Cosmic Ghost Rider on 2. If you are considering the defensive abilities as well, then Hulkling I think is a solid number 2, because he's great on offense and also pretty annoying on defense, at least it can be. And then Cosmic Ghost Rider, it doesn't have too much utility to offer. He's not a good defender, but holy shit, the damage is really good. One of the highest in the entire game. Second highest I would say, behind Hela with the Odin synergy, but that's not always practical and requires a decent skill on Hela as well, and spacing and all of that stuff. Cosmic Ghost Rider is much easier to play and you don't need a synergy to get that kind of damage. He is a nuke, very good for battleground, will finish fights really quickly, has a ton of armor breaks, which is some utility. And yeah, then we have Galen, who I think used to be, like when he came out, very powerful, but now with health pools getting a little bit bigger, Galen is not as insane as he used to be. Even in battlegrounds there are nodes which, like, if anything messes up with his power meter or anything, you kind of have problems. Like if in current node where you can't gain, but then in the current node in battlegrounds there are most characters who don't have debuffs struggle, so we won't consider that. But Galen, he's really good for a particular amount of health pool, where you can just, you know, gain your charges and finish with a massive special attack with your harvest. And then we have the science class. In my opinion, science is a very tricky class to rank, especially with Quake. Quake is only available as a 5-star. I kind of not include her. Saying disclude, I don't include her in my ranking videos because it's complicated, because she is incredibly powerful, but she's only available as a 5-star. Now sure, you can ascend 5 stars, which make her a little bit more relevant than I would say in, you know, early 2023. But at the same time, now that 7 stars resources are becoming more common, people are ranking up 7 stars. Quake, you know, is not, I don't see her use that much, to be honest, but she is insanely powerful. And yeah, you can pretty much, the fights where she works, you can, she's a cheat code. You can, it's gonna be a bit longer, she's not the fastest, but you are gonna finish the fight ideally with 0 health lost. So yeah, Quake is in the highest tier, but at the same time I wouldn't rank her with any 4 of these champions. Now Titania I think is the best 7-star champion to rank up in the science class, at least in my opinion. Silk is quite interesting. If you have a relic on her, you can go for the SP3 or SP2 rotation. There's a lot of damage on Silk, And then Titania also, the buff immunity is really, really nice. Although a decent amount of characters have it, I think she is the best character to have buff immunity, so that's always nice. And Scorpion is just very, very solid. You have a lot of power sting kind of damage. You have 3 different types of debuffs, so if the opponent is immune to something, you can go for something else, like Rupture or Shock. And he's just very, very versatile. I think something that Torch lacks, like Torch against Mystic or a character where you can gain his charges, he's probably going to be the best. He's going to be the quickest, and it's just not even a question. But a lot of fights Torch is not that great, although I would say if you have the Nova Flame ability, he can deal with a decent amount of fights even where it's not an ideal matchup. He does alright, better than the average champion. But still, Scorpion I think is one of the most versatile science champion, and for that I think he should be, like, in my opinion, he is the best science overall. And if you're talking about just 7 stars, then Titania takes that title. Now skill wise, again, it's very competitive. I think at this point I would say Kate Bishop is the best skill, maybe, and then probably Kingpin, and then Nick Fury. If you also value the defensive thing, then Nick Fury is he's really good in Battlegrounds. You can use him offensive. I've been using him offensively in the current meta, where you need to have the debuffs to gain power and then your special attacks do massive damage. He's really, really good for that, even in his first phase. And then Valkyrie is also really, really good. But I think Valkyrie is behind these 3, and how you rank these 3 is really your opinion. Kate Bishop was also, I saw her being used quite a bit in Necropolis, which is another big thing. But she can be used even in stuff like Battlegrounds and all. Like you get the first 2 cold snaps, she does a lot of damage over time, and like she's good for medium health pools as well as large health pools, which is impressive, and makes her quite versatile. And Kingpin, he's just really, really sustainable. You have the willpower healing constantly, defensive ability reduction, just overall very solid and very effective champion. Also with the hood synergy, you have the purify thing. So very strong champion for sure. And then in mutant class, my personal favorite is Archangel. Kitty Pryde is she's not the best in Battlegrounds, but she is kind of like a cheesy champion, especially like with the Tigra synergy. You get few charges, you're going to be unblockable when you dash. It's really, really fun to play her. It does need a bit of practice. I'm not particularly good with her, but you can't deny her power and the fact that she is still one of the strongest champions in the game. A few months ago, I ranked her number 2, I think, behind Hercules in the entire game. I don't think the same about her anymore because of how powerful Battlegrounds is and how important Necropolis is, and at least I didn't see anybody using her there. So yeah, but still, nonetheless, very, very strong champion and definitely deserves to be in the highest tier. Now Onslaught is super new, but his kit is just insane. Like, he has so much stuff going for him, and on top of that, really nice damage as well. I think he really deserves to be here. I think, see, whenever a new character comes out, from what I've seen, I usually do these tier lists later in the month when both the champions have been released, and I missed last month, so this is technically last month's tier list. So yeah, a lot of times I have to be the first one to rank these champions, newer champions, when nobody else has updated the tier list, and I try to play it a bit safe. Like, I don't want to. I remember with Wong, initial testing wise, I thought he's insane, but then people didn't use him that much, and now actually he has regained a bit of popularity. When he was released as 7-star, I see people using him again, but for a while I thought I really misjudged Wong, and I don't want to overhype a champion. If you kind of undersell a champion, that's still alright, because nobody sees your video and ranks them up, at least, and thinks that waste their resources. So generally speaking, I think most creators, they don't like to overhype a champion. When a new champion comes in, they try to rank them like a bit safe, 1 tier maybe below where they could be potentially. But I think most people agree that Onslaught is just absolutely insane and deserves, he's one of the best mutants right now. So yeah. And then Magneto is interesting. I think in the end game I don't see him as much. I don't see him in decks these days, but you can't deny his power. There are still a lot of annoying hashtag metal champions where if you have Magneto, that's just game over. And even in defense, you can kind of catch people off guard. Like if they only have hashtag metal champions left, Magneto can be a little annoying to deal with. So I think he is very very good. But if you are in the end game, like you're done with all the story content and all, then maybe not, because in Battlegrounds I don't see him used as much. Then we have the tech class, where I would say 7-star wise, I think Shuri is the best one. And then, Ghost is always gonna be strong in this game. You can't make Ghost useless. She's just very very strong if she works. And like if you can face with her, you basically taking no block damage. You have a high sig. People are just very very skilled with Ghost. You can gain a bunch of power. You can face multiple hits. You can get to the special attacks quickly. You have insane damage. You can phase debuffs and convert them into furies. You have just so much going on for her. Even now, it's just insane. So she is definitely a character that is gonna be super strong, but I don't see her used as much these days as I would say she was at one point. But again, if you are someone who has a ghost and you're kind of considering, you should probably still rank her up. I don't see a 7-star ghost coming in the game ever. So, if you have a 6-star one, we can figure up and probably even ascend. I would totally ascend a 6-star ghost. And Nimrod, I think, is a little bit on the decline, but still very very strong. Obviously against mutants is insane. When he's not against mutants, I think he is underrated. A lot of people just see him as like a tech Human Torch. What Human Torch is to Mystics, that he is to mutants. I would say Nimrod, there are like he used to be the only fast counter to some annoying mutant defenders, but now there are alternatives. But at the same time, he is still one of the best counters to most mutant champions, and he can be kind of decent even against non-mutant champions. So he is still very very strong, and he's okay-ish on defense, although this tier list doesn't really take defense into consideration. Then we have Ant-Man Future. Speaking of defense, very very annoying on defense and very strong on attack at the same time. So he's by some people considered the strongest tech champion to rank up, and if you consider his offensive and defensive use, you can't disagree with that statement. And then we have Shuri, who is exceptionally useful even in stuff like Necropolis, and even in some smaller medium-ish health pool stuff. She is really really good. After buff, she is probably, in my opinion, the most desirable 7-star tech champion to have, and one of the most desirable 7-stars to have, period. And then we have the Mystic class. So Mystic class, I would say, I personally still think Doctor Doom is the best Mystic champion. A little bit, some people might disagree with that. Some people might say it's Absorbing Man. But honestly, Absorbing Man, you need to be very very skilled, whereas Doom is like complete opposite. Sure, you have a rotation, but honestly, like after the first SP3, the fight is over. You don't need to pay attention. You just do your rotation and it's over. The kind of control you have with Doctor Doom is just insane, in my opinion. And power control is such an important and great ability to have. It's just amazing. I think Doctor Doom is still the strongest Mystic champion in the game. Not to mention, if the opponent doesn't have a counter, he could be annoying on defense as well. Tigra and Absorbing Man, kind of the same story. They require exceptional skill. They are useful on both offense and defense, Absorbing Man being the better defender for sure. But Tigra even can catch a lot of people off guard with her massive reach and unblockable special if she launches it from a distance. Damage wise, I would say they both have amazing damage as well. And overall just very very strong champions. And America Chavez, I would say, is probably the most desirable 7-star Mystic champion. I have her, I love her, I use her quite a bit. It's insane. Like I finished it's very quick fights with her in battlegrounds and stuff. They gain all her 3 charges. You launch a special with it. You basically back to SP2. You launch that said SP2, and most fights are over. So America Chavez, I think, is a very, very strong champion. Now here, let's not talk about every single champion, otherwise this video is going to be super duper long. Let's talk about something that stands out. I think Hyperion has proved himself through the test of time. And then Null is just solid. Odin, I think, is underrated. Some people just like him for his pre-fights. He's much more than that. Even himself, he can take a lot of fights. Angela with the Odin synergy is insane for stuff like incursions, but even otherwise, Angela at a high signature level is really good. She is available as a 7-star, but she kind of also benefits a lot from having a high signature level, and having a high signature level is such a hard thing with 7 stars for most people in the game. So that's why if you're talking about 7-star Angela, I would rather have someone like a 7-star Venom, but if you're talking about 6 stars, I would rather have a 6-star Angela than a 6-star Venom. So it's kind of interesting, and that is to say that tier lists are not just like, they're not a hard and fast rule book that this character is certainly better than another character for some reason. Like it's like, let's say you need a champion to control heal and you have Void, you know, that Void is going to be better than someone who can't control heal, who is in higher characters. I'm getting a lot of messages for some reason, so I'm gonna wrap this up. But basically, this is the tier list. Do let me know how you feel about it, and if you think a character is misplaced, do let me know in the comment section down below, and we can, if we agree, I'll make the changes in the next one that will be updated next month. That's gonna do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Like, share, subscribe, stay safe, have a good one, and bye bye.